Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing excellent. We, however, once again, are not doing so excellent.
Nope.
Let me show you a sneak peek of the current situation for the FC. So as you can see, we had an engine fire in the FC. Now, we don't know exactly what happened, and we may never know because of how extensive the damage is. But it comes down to one of two things. It was either oil or fuel leaking in the hot side, or made its way to the hot side in the engine bay. I was on my way to work, excited to drive the FC for the first time after putting the bumper on after the crash, and coasting downhill, about ready to get on the freeway, and all of a sudden there's a boom, a burst. I see flames, I see smoke, and looking through the dash, I can see flames inside the cabin. Luckily, I was able to pull over the side of the road, was not on the freeway yet. I'm fine. 3 different people stopped and kindly helped me. I was coughing from the smoke inside the cabin, trying to get the air conditioner, trying to get the fire extinguisher unhooked from its mount. Luckily, I just recently installed a fire extinguisher. Good Samaritan who stopped by, grabbed it, said, "Give me that. You stand back." Pulled the pin, sprayed the inside of the car. Fire was still going. It was underneath the car. It was on top of the car. Another guy parked, ran over with another fire extinguisher, sprayed it on the car. Another guy stopped with bottles of water. The same guy who initially launched the fire extinguisher on the inside of the car grabbed more bottles of water from his work truck and put everything out, and luckily most of the car was saved. Unfortunately, a lot of it is gone, and at this point I think she's done.
It's sad because, like Thomas said, we'll never know exactly what caused it. Every single time since the dyno days, since the accident and everything, and we started and moved it, when brought up to temperature, we always checked everything. We didn't just shut it off and walk away. You know, we made sure that there was no other leaks, because even though you didn't see it in the footage of the crash and us fixing the damage and whatnot, we went over everything. It's not like, you know, we just took care of this corner. We, you know, made sure that the motor was still straight. We made sure everything was still tight and nothing broke. You know, there's no ruptured fuel lines. There's no ruptured, you know, vacuum lines, any exposed harness, anything like that. To have it all of a sudden do that, I mean, like, there's so many things that could have happened. You know, something just as small as I couldn't see it in a fuel line. to happen. And you know, chain is only as strong as weakest link, and sometimes you just can't see it until it's too late.
Exactly. So something could have failed, a fitting, a fuel line, a connection with some of the oil system, something. But the truth of it is that I have to own up to is that I did everything on this car myself. I mean, I did it with Jeff's help, but I designed everything, I put it together, I chose the fittings, I chose every product that's on here, and I put it together myself. It was my first time doing a full rebuild on a car like this, and I'm super sad and super upset that this happened after, as you guys who've been watching the channel know, over a year of work.
Almost 2, coming up on 2. We pulled the motor for the first time in October of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So this started almost 2 years ago.
And now we have this. So from here, we need to see what's salvageable. We need to see what's still good, what we can take off, what we can save, what we can sell, unfortunately, and check it out from there. So we're going to go ahead and pressure wash this engine bay down because it's very traumatic looking, covered in fire retardant and ash from the fire. Once we do that, we should have a more reasonable idea of what's going on in there, and then we'll start the process of disassembly.
And I think since you've already shown a couple clips of it, we should explain what happened here, because that was not from driving. That was not.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the accident. As you can see, we're back on the side of the house. With people who've been watching the channel from the beginning, you recognize our little makeshift side garage. So in order to do that, we had to remove this section of the fence, and we had to push the car up 2 sections of curb, one being right there, to get it swing around here and all the way back over there. Now in order to do that, we tried to use my little electric Fiat. Now we were pushing it up the ramp, we got it up on the sidewalk, then trying to get it into the backyard. Jeff was driving the Fiat and it just basically wouldn't go. He had his foot to the floor, and then it showed a picture of a turtle. It said limited power mode.
And Thomas is in the car going, gas it! Gas it! I'm like, my foot's on the floor!
And it goes, beep, turtle. And that's it. So we decided to call in the cavalry, and we called our dad, who has a nice big Chevy Silverado.
The truck that you've seen in all the videos where we tow it or anything, that's my dad's truck.
So he came over willingly and nicely and helped, and he got a complicated plan of where to put the ramps to get the car up and how he was going to turn his wheel with the truck so that the bumpers lined up and push it to the backyard. And then all of a sudden, I said, oh, sorry, I locked the steering wheel. I unlocked the steering wheel, and I said, okay, and I was trying to steer it back, and all of a sudden, he turned it into Jeremy Clarkson for a few minutes and just power, and I feel boom, and the car's going. And all of a sudden, we ran into the side of the house right here. So if I move our little plant here, you'll see there's a bit of damage to our home, and that's why the front of the car is damaged. Now, if I wasn't already had the problem with the car, I'd be pretty upset. But given all the whole situation, that's actually pretty funny. And you know, we're going to have a lot more work to do than fix that side of the car. And Jeff's already proven himself in fixing the intercooler piping. I've already proven myself in fixing the bumper. So don't rule anything out just yet.
And what's funny is that we did do a video of building a bash bar, but unfortunately all the audio was ruined. And so there is a bash bar under there too. And it somehow like formed, I'm not sure if you can probably see it, but it formed itself around where the bash bar is. The bumper is kind of just wrapped around it.
Yep.
And yeah, it sucks, but I mean, like, things always happen in threes. I'm not sure if you guys heard that phrase, but first crash, fire, then that, and hopefully that's the last one, because truth be told, I believe we do have the ability to rebuild this car. But time and money now are huge factors. You know, I'm working right now, I'm scheduled 6 days a week. Thomas works full-time. Mm-hmm. Plus we have our personal lives, which we don't really involve you guys in that much because it's our personal life, but we have a lot of stuff going on. So, you know, to rebuild this car in the state it's in, plus our finances, it would probably be a better part of a year before it leaves the side of the house again.
Yeah, and the sad part is I was ready to register for a track day this coming weekend to finally get this car on the road, enjoy it fully, and to make a nice video for all of you that have watched and seen this car develop and see what she can actually do. Unfortunately, we brought her back from the dead, a year-long process, but she came back kind of like one of the kids from Pet Cemetery, trying to kill you.
It's funny because what's that anime show with the Devil Z?
Yeah, it's Wangan Midnight.
The Haunted FC.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a Devil Z and a Haunted FC. This thing just wants to either kill the person who's driving it or kill itself.
It wants to stay dead, I think. Anyway, all joking aside, like Jeff said, this has been an incredibly taxing project from a labor standpoint and from a financial standpoint, and it was a passion project for me because, as you guys know, I've had this car since I was 19. It's a car I learned to drive in, not from a student driver, but learned to performance drive in. It's a car I could kind of drift in, even though I'm not a very good drifter, and it's sad on so many levels. Not only the effort and energy we took over this past over a year to put it together and make the numbers on the dyno that we did, but also the fact that I've had her and taken care of her, even though for a long time not running, still stored her, still paid for storage, still took care of it since I've was a kid. So it's very upsetting, but it's getting dark tonight. We need to get some degreaser to spray all over the engine bay, so we'll be back once we clean it up and give you kind of a summary of the totality of the damage, and if we can kind of pinpoint maybe what happened. All right, so we're here ready to start degreasing and power washing this horrible mess. Taped off the intake just to make sure we don't get any liquid into the turbine. Everything else should still be good from the top down, so we could pressure wash it. Got plenty of degreaser here, hopefully, to try and loosen this stuff up. And then we're going to take some of the liquid from the spray bottle here, get it into ye old power washer, and then start spraying.
Now I know what you're thinking. You're using this pressure washer in an engine bay? Oh, you might get water in sensors and connectors.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't want that.
They're all melted. They're all sealed.
We wouldn't want that.
No.
I think we're going to make a laundry list of what we need to replace to get the engine running again, and it's going to be right off the bat every single sensor. So
yeah, every single sensor, almost every wire.
Yeah, the copper is still there on the wires, but I'm sure that they've been so ruined that
at this point they've been cooked.
Yeah.
Like they don't hold any conductivity at all.
What I'm interested in once we clean it off and get in there is, are the injectors okay?
Yeah, that's one of my main concerns. Like, is the fuel rails and injectors okay? Because if they're not, then that's a pretty hefty expense. Since we've gone through already a pair real fast, or a set, I should say.
Set of 4. So anyway, let's start spraying. Let's see what's what. Here we go. Well, honestly, I was hoping she'd clean up a little bit more encouraging, but anywhere where there's paint or metal that wasn't treated or coated with something, it's not coming off. Which is okay, because if you look at some things like the main components of the engine, you can see that even though they were very, very dirty and covered with that fire retardant, they're fine. So the fire didn't reach up, the heat of it at least didn't reach up too far, but every little bit of wiring is gone, which is pretty much what we expected, and unless it's this far forward. And the actual power distribution block here, which where the power comes in, there's no burning from there out, so it's clear that it was something with fuel or oil hitting something hot over here, ignited all the way back here. All the fuel lines are still attached, so it's difficult to say. Maybe it was leaking or a fitting was leaking. There's also a variety of vacuum ports that if some of the fuel got out under boost and then got heated up enough, that could happen, but it's difficult to tell if one of them was blown open or leaking because all the block offs are melted and gone. So there's not a smoking gun, which would have been nice, but these coil packs could be usable still, which would be amazing.
We can test them.
Yeah, we gotta test everything.
But upon like first inspection here, it looks like the top fuel rail looks okay.
Mm-hmm.
The wiring obviously melted along the side, but it looks like it's in okay condition. The first fuel injector right below it's purple. The wires are still connected. That looks okay. Green came back on top of the Fortunato. So
that's really important.
When we took these off, you know, these should be still scrubbed, be okay. Turbo looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Intercooler piping obviously good. Just one coupler over there melted.
Mm-hmm.
The engine itself looks good.
Yep.
So, I mean, obviously, I don't believe that alternator's in the, or if you can take out that, I'm not sure if you can rewire all that and get that out.
Yeah, we should be able to. We'll test it.
But it seems everything electrical is,
besides that is gone.
Yeah, is just toast. And obviously all the fuel lines, just because they could have gotten compromised, are being replaced. The fuel pressure regulator,
it's toasted.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd get a new one. Yeah, just to get the brake boosters done. All that over there, right there, is done.
Yep.
Purple came back on the oil filler cap. That's good. Side just still a little brown or black and toasty, but steering rack's okay. All the high pressure lines for all the MR2 power steering pump stuff's okay. Catch can's okay. The line to there is okay. Just a little melted stuff right there. The BAC is just melted.
Yep.
And then right here, I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but the fan right here, in between all the little things, this is all melted. It looks kind of cool actually, like this, like, but that still means that it's been warped and we should replace it regardless. So what do you think?
Well, I think I'm not exactly emotionally ready to start tearing into it just yet. This is just obviously an update video and to kind of start the process. Obviously, it's going to take a long time for us to be able to A, do all the labor on this in between working our full-time jobs, and B, afford replacing it. You know, this project was nearing completion. And every project has a budget. It's fiscally responsible. We appreciate everyone's support on YouTube, but if you know anything about it, we do not nearly have enough ad stream revenue to support what we do. It all comes out of pocket. So for now, I just have to face the reality that this project is finished, and if it does get picked back up, it's going to be thanks to some generous donations from all of you and or time and money, probably a combination of both. So that being said, I'm going to make a GoFundMe page, and I hate to come to this and ask all of you for money, And you don't have to donate. You can just leave a nice comment. That'll mean just as much. But we're going to open up something to see if we can recoup some of the costs and maybe jumpstart us getting back into this project, because obviously this car means a lot to me, and I think it means a lot to the people who watch on our channel. So the link will be in the description below. As for right now, I think I'm just ready to go lay down and continue to process all this, because it's been a tough couple days. It's been a tough, since we got off the dyno, it has not been a positive moment really. And I think that's where we'll leave it for now. You can give us a big help by subscribing to the channel, leaving a like, watching some of our other videos, and sharing that content with your friends. We hope you all remember to stay kind to each other, and when they ask you, tell them you want more.